What is happening, budget builders, and welcome to the Model A Peach Flat Rescue. In our last video, we dragged this thing out of a field where it'd been for over 3 decades. I'm sure you can see this thing's made of wood, and all of the wood has quite literally rotted off of it. With some convincing, we got this thing running again. And we actually got this 94-year-old Ford driving down the road once again. But in today's video, we're gonna clean this thing up, kind of work on that paint just a little bit, get all of the rotten wood off, and then we have torn down, well, it was already basically falling down, a 150-plus-year-old barn, and we're gonna use all of that to rebuild the peach flat on the back of this thing. We couldn't just go to the hardware store and buy wood now, could we? Plus, that's gonna be really neat to see that old wood reused again, saved to save this old car once again. Jumping in, we're first gonna remove all of the wood, get this whole back off of here, get what is left of the flooring out of the way, and so we can replicate this, we get access to everything else that needs to be cleaned up in preparation for rebuilding this thing. Don't break the wood now.
Who thought it was a good idea to put this thing together with square nuts? I bet there's a socket. That's what I said.
I'm not sure this rubber floor mat is factory. Guess we might replace that. Were we standing on this floor? Gotta pull the throttle pedal. That looks like a cabinet door handle. I think we could use a new header panel, and it's clear.
It's not clear.
Yeah, no, it's not clear. I think we could use a new header panel, and it's clear by the 80s inspection sticker here. Somebody in the 80s put this plexiglass windshield in, and it's a little ugly. So we're gonna get that pulled out, and I got some new seal stuff. We'll get a piece of glass cut to put in this thing. You've got to take your little thing loose there. We'll take a minute and do a little bit of figuring out of the fuel system. We kind of makeshifted everything to get us going. One thing that is not pretty is that old cork float and that real sad sending unit. Oh, there it goes. There it goes. Yep, that gasket's a little grody. Our new float and our new gasket that are going to be much more happy in today's fuels. And we can actually see it now. That is so cool. New petcock, and we opted to get the one with the little screen sock here. We won't be able to use the last tiny bit of gas. And we flushed this tank out with some acetone as suggested by some subscribers. And that helped a lot, but there's a couple little random bits of stuff floating around in there. And we want to keep them out of this fuel system. Okay, we might end up painting this thing, but right now we're focused on getting it clean and getting the back built. We can make it look decent for now, right? It's missing some, but what's there's decent, just dry, right? A little wet sand and buff and it look good. First step, we want to soak this thing down with a quick detailer, and then we'll run over it with a clay bar, and that is going to pick up that last layer of trash that might be in the paint, just because otherwise we're going to push it around and swirl it in the paint. You can see it picking up a bunch of little specks of trash. Use 1,000 grit sandpaper. Do all this by hand just so we're not getting crazy with the DA and taking off more paint than we need to. And I'm just gonna go one direction with this. We're gonna try to get it nice and smooth, and I'm not even gonna mess around this edge. I don't want to burn through there at all. We'll first get in with a heavy cut compound pad and some heavy cut compound. Tons, 3 little dabs. Conditioner. Take this front half first. Start on low speed, get it worked in. And we'll kick it up high. And we'll work it in until most of our residue is gone. We should wipe it off and it should look a little bit better. And I just want to remind you, we're not professional detailers, professional anything in fact. So there's probably steps we're doing wrong and things you want to do differently. So this is not going to be perfect. Maybe this isn't exactly the way to do it. There's probably ways you would do it differently. Feel free to comment down below how you would do it. But I think it'll look pretty decent. Now we've got a heavy polish pad, some scratch and swirl remover. We're gonna try to pull the scratches out of this. Now a polish finish pad and some optical grade final polish. And we'll finish it off with a wax pad, and I use this ceramic all-in-one Greitz Garage. Been really happy with this. Wow, I just made a mess. Stuff. Yeah, no, that's not perfect, but that's pretty. Now once that pad starts getting packed in pretty good, we can take our air hose and blow it out. With the headlights back on, you're probably gonna notice this weird looking deal going on here. So this is a updated, more modern, still 6 volt, I believe it's 6 volt headlight bulb. And they use some adapters to put this thing in here. And they look like little tray things. They're kind of cool. But anyways, they use these little adapters to put those in there. And then we have an original. And what's actually cool, I need to clean this up because I just kind of stuck it in there to see how it would look. This was in the barn we were tearing down. Like, it was made for this. So it's kind of neat. We happened to tucked under one of the floorboards was this, and it was the only Model A thing we found. It just happened to be a headlight lens, and it's a really nice one. I bought another one, and it's got a little crack in it, but I bought it to match after we saw that this thing obviously had to have. No doubt we'll have to figure out a headlight on the inside there, but it needed the original lenses because that just looks so much better. Here's that matching one I found. It's super nice. It's been all cleaned up, a little scuff, but it just has a chip there. That's not gonna hurt anything. But it's just cool. This one's actually flat and this one's concaved a little bit. No idea what the difference is there. I don't know, it's just how odd, like what were we found some Coca-Cola things and a few other odds and ends and headlight lens. So I asked my uncle, my great uncle, which is whose barn it was, if we could have it, he'd let us have it. So that's just pretty. Look at that. So we install a new cork like so. And then these One was broke. There was one kind of holding it, so I got a new set. These are only like $3 for all of them. What's funny is these are exactly like the 911 headlight latches. So I wonder if the Model A used that design and the 911 copied it, or did the Model A copy the 911? Yeah, that's a whole lot better. Had several folks wanted to hear the original horn. Unfortunately, did not work. But we have this one, and Dad's already taken the time to, you can see it had some rust, but Dad's cleaned it up pretty nicely. We'll get this mounted in place, because we gotta have an Ooga horn. First order of business, we're gonna take care of the floor pans. Now we don't want to use the old dry wood. It's gonna be awesome for the bed, but as far as putting your feet on and everything and a little bit of strength, that stuff, the way that a floorboard is set up is really not designed for that. So we picked up a couple sheets of oak, which I think polyurethane is gonna be beautiful on the floor. And this will be the right width and everything now. And obviously the original floorboard needed replacing anyways. Dude, look how big this thing is. That's a huge cricket. They're everywhere. Look guys, look at this. It's a giant cricket. I'm going fishing. It's nice, eh? Left. Yeah, it's kind of cushy. I know it's heavy. That's a big chunk of board. 150-year-old tree. Well, no, it was probably a 150-year-old tree when it got cut down 150 years ago. It's probably a 300-year-old tree. Oh, going on a 94-year-old Ford.
All right,
Is that saw gonna cut this thing?
No. The brake's working good. Sure.
God, look how tight the grain is on that.
It's an old tree.
Look at that. Is that beaut? I don't know. Maybe y'all are like, that's just old wood, but that's awesome. Look at that.
Let's see what you do. Look at her. Much better than that.
That is some hard wood.
Oh man, what is that? That is glue on your shoes.
My goodness.
Yeah, fell away today. Wait, have a little pickup.
I know. We just knocked 10 miles an hour off this poor thing.
Oh, it's gonna go 3.
That there's the makings of a flatbed. And then this little bit of mildew, this stuff got rained on as soon as we pulled it out, and it's basically dried back out already. But this stuff, what do I do with the brush? Just cleans up super easy with a brush like that. What's kind of crazy and just shows how good this wood actually is, 66 and a half. And this is 66 and a half. And that's pretty darn good. What's insane is the fact that this is all rough cut sawmill. Like, they did pretty good back in the day for what they had. Like, you look at these saw strokes. Do you see that? Could you imagine a 5 or 6 foot saw blade run by a belt just gnawing away at this stuff? That's the cool part of the history of this for me. You know, we're using what was here, we're rebuilding using what they would have built this with. I'm so excited for this. Maybe we shouldn't be, but just rebuilding history like this, the way that it should be, or the way we think it should be. This is an interpretation. We're not professional restorationers. I don't know. This is pretty cool though. Could you see a band sitting up on top of this thing? Rocking out, playing the fiddle and the banjo. Before we go any farther with our decking, we have to get the rear bumper mounted because it bolts down through here. And then we'll knock out our spare tire hanger. So all of that is addressed. And start putting the decking down on this thing. I'm excited to see it start coming together. I run off with the hammer. Whoa, Dad, move your finger.
That finger? Well, leave that finger alone.
That is oak. That's pretty. Woo, yeah, it is. Get a little live edge. That's cool. It's coming together, but we can't leave it just a plank like that. I mean, it is a peach flat, but it just doesn't quite look finished as a flat deck, which is cool. I'm gonna just keep saying that wood's awesome. Anyways, so I think we're gonna do some kind of sides. At this point, we're just kind of brainstorming, but we're gonna stake it here in the corner, attach a rear, and I think attach some fronts, and then put a little strips, and we'll have sides that slide in and out so we can kind of use this to run around and sell the peaches that we grow here. There you see, with our little chunks in here, our front and our rear board end, we have our slot. So we can take and load our peaches, grab our sideboards, and they slide right into place, and then pull them back out so we can sell our peaches. Load, and then unload some more peaches, and then put the other sideboard on after we're done handling our peaches.
Look at this thing. Dad, is that awesome or what? Look at it.
It should be in a museum, except it's gonna get driven.
Couple smoother edges, but very minimal. Most everything you see is rough cut.
Now to seal in the bottom of our floorboards, the top we're gonna use a poly, so it's got a nice clear finish, but on the bottom here, we're just gonna use a resin. So this is like a fiberglass resin. This is gonna be strong, and it's gonna seal everything in super nicely, and it'll dry fairly quick too. With the bottom nice and cured, Dad went over the top side, cleaned up any excess resin that was up here, and then sanded everything down with a 400 grit, and has it pretty nice and smooth. Now to seal it all in, we'll be going on there with a polyurethane. So this is a polyacrylic crystal clear top coat. We'll do a few coats of this over probably today. So we'll probably do 3 to 4 or 5 coats because this is gonna have foot traffic on it. I'm not sure if we're actually gonna cover it yet, but we want it to seal in, and we used oak, so we want it to look pretty nice too. After a couple hours, we did a light scuff with the 400, and now we've done our second coat. What I found worked really well putting this on is getting it on here. I just kind of work it back and forth. Directions say to stay with the grain. Bing, 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 bing. I make sure to kind of work it in back and forth. So I've got it on well. I'll run it over like this. Makes a little mess, but kind of evens everything out. If I get any bristles in it, it'll push those out. For the time being, we're gonna remount these 63 taillights back on here, and I think we're gonna end up swapping it out for an original set. But we'll use these brackets. You never know, 63 may have been around the time that this thing had been restored. Now it's not South Carolina, but it's got a peach on it. So we're gonna use this North Carolina license plate topper that I had on the shelf. It's so weird that it just happened to work out that way. And I need to get a 30 South Carolina tag, but for now, it'll be a 1930 Pennsylvania, I guess. They got peaches in Pennsylvania. That's pretty cool. Let's get this seat taken care of. we're gonna just do our own bases and everything. Dad ripped the wood down, clamp it on, draw it, and then we'll cut it out with a jigsaw. Probably know where this came from. Some foam from the motorhome. Got some cushiony cushion stuff. See if we can get this glass out of here so we can get a new piece hopefully cut. Come here. Even this windshield frame is like super solid. Crazy. Oh hey, that's a little better. Our local glass place whipped us up a fresh laminated glass. Let's get this put back in the car. Some new glass bedding. We really don't obviously have to seal this at all, so. You just kind of wrap that in there and push this thing down into place. Jam it in there. Just take a knife and trim it around, right? Mm-hmm. Probably could have watched a video or something.
That'd be silly. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know. It's just a little tiny bit better than the plexiglass, huh? That's pretty slick. I almost don't know if I want to put anything on top of that. Now, last touch up front here for now. I know we started the seats and they would have been okay, but our film guy Oliver was like, my grandmother loves doing stuff like this. Maybe we should see if she could do it. And in a few hours, she whipped us up this. Holy smokes. If that's not the cherry on top. I mean, I like that it's a little ripply here. It's kind of dated. She did a phenomenal job. I mean, I want to test learning sewing. We did the carpet before, but you can't beat that. That's amazing. Well, there you have it, the 31 Ford Model A, reimagined the way we think a peach flat should look like from back in the day. It was unfortunate that old barn was falling in on itself. It lasted so many years, well over a century. We're so glad that we were able to save so much of the wood, and a lot of it went to use rebuilding the back of this old car. We can't wait to take this thing just a few steps farther. We come to find out that there's literally no rear brakes in this thing, so we want to go through in our next video, tear the wheels apart on this thing, get all of the brakes addressed, get some new tires on this thing so we can actually safely roll. I mean, these are pretty sketchy. Not many tires with that much dry rot and still all holding air. And then we need to dial in a few other things on the bed and the car itself. Let's actually get out and cruise and enjoy this thing and maybe go pick up some peaches. Now comment down below, what do you think of this? If you were doing this similar build, is that how you would have done it? Would you have done it a little bit differently? And if so, how would you do it? We really hope you all have enjoyed. And if you have, and you want to see more on this and our other rebuilds and rescues, be sure to the subscribe button and notification bell to keep up with our future uploads. If you have been a part of the channel, you've been following along, we do appreciate it so incredibly much. We get to rescue history like this because of each and every one of you. Thank you. Peace out, and catch you all on the flip side.